Okay. How's it? Good evening, all our friends and family and people that watch our live meetings locally and abroad. We are, I wouldn't say late, but we are going live now, and yeah, we've obviously we've had our evening meeting over here at the recovery center, at the rehab at RAEL's recovery center, and yeah, sometimes it goes on a little bit longer than expected, and you know, as we all know, that these guys is our priority, and sometimes we can't always predict exactly how long it's going to be. So yeah, last night was a cuck one. How's it, Taryn? How's it, Clutchy? Auntie Connie, Dion. Hey, Aldridge. Lekker to check his name popping up there as well. And I thought maybe I would have missed some of you guys because of the sort of time factor and that. But yeah, we had a lovely meeting this evening on the farm. We usually do have lekker meetings, and like I said, hey, last night was a bit of a cuck one, but yeah, I was just getting into it, and then my battery died, and there wasn't a power bank close enough. So here we are. It's Thursday again. Most of the people that watch do know about Orange Friday and our addiction awareness campaign that has been founded 5 years ago and created by Mr. Hall to remove the stigma and things that's connected to addiction, and also to represent the sort of pain and things that goes around with addiction. Awesome. The names are popping up lekker, yeah. And how's it, Lee J, Sharon, Elizabeth, Thunder, and you know, because of you guys that are watching and inviting your friends to the group and things like that, I've seen that there's a bit of growth in the group as well. If it's 10 or 20 people a week, it doesn't matter to me how much we grow, as long as, you know, if somebody comes in and watches for a while and it does something to them and it changes something for them, or they find an answer, yo, there's some long last names popping up here. Yo, that's very cool. How's it, Tanya? Kerith, Andre Knipe, Terry, and yeah, if you don't mind me saying, Terry, Jared is doing lekker. He's fitted in lekker with the oaks and stuff. Obviously, with this quarantine nonsense and that with the COVID, not nonsense, but obviously safety precautions for everybody and that. He's gotten a little bit lonely there. How's it, Wura? I can check Garth in the messages there, evening all, because he wants me to say how's it to him. I was going to leave him in suspense, but yeah, couple of names that are popping up, oaks that have been through the program, that are sober and that, and yeah, like I said, hey, I just started getting into it last night, and then it tuned, hey, 30 seconds, your phone is going to die. But thank you for everybody that understands that and all of that. And you know, since Family Day, we say, yeah, Terry, he's been a pleasure so far. Eh? I always say, you know, with me growing up and me in the sort of hectic part of my addiction, or even, how's it, Gary? Lekker to check you watching as well. I know you're always here checking us out and watching and in contact with us. Sorry, the I want to greet everybody, but it makes me lose my train of thought because it's sometimes the side effects of long-term substance abuse. But yeah, Terry, I was mentioning, me growing up and things like that, and a lot of the guys that that come in here agree with us that I don't know if it's a rebellion thing or what, but it's at times. How's it, Diane? At times through our lives, it's so difficult to listen to our parents or listen to. Sorry, Tank. Yeah, that's fine. And there's a bit of Jimmy's in the fridge there. And it's sometimes very difficult. You come across these people and loved ones in your family and people closest to you. Sorry, Jared, what do you mean? Oh, you're talking to Garth. I thought you tuned me. I know how to skit a card. I do, but I use it for the good now. And yeah, Terry, I was busy saying to you that sometimes it's very difficult, like listening to your parents or taking their advice or admitting that they're right at the time. But a lot of the times, because we don't only do recovery based meetings here, we do the normal life. And a lot of the times the things that I teach the Oaks or that Mr. Hall teaches me, I've sat in meetings and thought to myself, hey, that's exactly what my parents used to tell me. And it just somehow sometimes seems easier to try the way they're saying to do things or the way. Yes, Carl, the big boss is still on the road. I won't tell you where. I know where. But I don't want to say exactly where because there might be people watching that don't like him. But he's still on the road, and everybody here is fine and all of that. How's it, Duncan? Also a good man, also in recovery for a while. And yeah, it seems like because there's an automatic sort of fight going on between loved ones and the person making cack or the person that's in addiction, and that it's very difficult to listen to them. I know, for example, as well, even withdrawing or staying away from the drug or the cravings and things like that the guys get almost seems easier sometimes when you get here. It's like for example, I would sometimes get detox meds for heroin while I was still at home, thinking that I could just take the detox meds and get over the physical part and I'll be good and alright. But then I still couldn't make it through a day or 2 days sometimes without actually doing the drugs. But when you come here, it seems a lot easier because we all sort of doing the same thing. And sorry, I haven't had a cigarette for a while because I spoke to the guys for about an hour and a half. So yeah, I check Richie is also here tonight. Lekker to check you, Richie. I'm not going to be here this weekend, but you can still make a turn here. And all the guys that have been here and all of that, all welcome to make a turn if you just sort of, let us know in that. Yeah, because as the sort of lockdown and things like that lift and things like that, we'll obviously also get back into our activism. We've got guys of all different ages and things like that, all different backgrounds. That if we're speaking to an audience, there must be somebody that you can penetrate with your story and maybe help change their mind in something that they want to do, or people that they hang around with, or whatever. So we obviously we speak at schools, corporates, community halls. We've spoken in all different communities in the heart of the location. different locations. We've spoken at the Cape Flats. We've spoken at, sure, the list goes on and on and on, and that's what we're trying to do. That's why I said it's very interesting to see that the group grows week by week in numbers, and like I say, even if our views isn't 5,000 and it's only 100, but there's someone that it enlightened or helped or whatever for that time period that they were joining us, then it's fine. Then our job is done. And Richie, are you gonna start wrestling and all of that now again with the lockdown that's lifted? Richie's a Springbok wrestler, and he got his Springbok colours back, yeah, and all of that, after having a hard time with drugs. Lot of family, not politics, but he caused a lot of cuck and things like that, and got his family back in order, and these things take time. I always tell the guys that are here on the program, remember, we got a time out to come and work on ourselves and things like that, but moms and families and loved ones, brothers, sisters, girlfriends, and all of that also need a time out. They also need to heal while we and that takes time. You know, I'm coming back to why we say that RAEL sort of slogan is recovering addicts, empowering lives. First of all, tomorrow some of the guys are going to go and help at one of the places here in the Boerland, and we don't force it upon them, and that is usually how job opportunities come and things like that, is that somebody will notice how they work or whatever, or they do a good job, and doors and things open when their recovery is right. Those things happen, and we can slowly start seeing that those things are starting to happen again. We've got a guy that's going home to his family for the weekend as well over here. But all of it is easy does it. We can't expect to come into rehab for a week or a month or whatever. Sometimes we might be right, but we always try and organize the person to go out into the best situation for their recovery. So their recovery might be strong or whatever, and they might be doing well, but the place that they're going to, maybe dad is still pissed off about his power tools that got sold, or the brother's still pissed off about his PlayStation or whatever it is that got sold or stolen. Or maybe we go home like Michael and we sell mom's stuff that she bought us, and then we say that it was mine. But it's fine if I sell it, mom will buy another one. But Michelle doesn't do that anymore. And yeah, so like I said, we're doing our thing with that's called crackers and crackheads, very light-hearted and things like that, because we try different angles and approaches, just so that people can see that there might be some oak sitting there thinking he can't recover because he's done something so extreme or whatever, but or no one can relate to his situation. That's why we share openly. That's why we I'm just checking the comments out here. That's why we share openly and things, and ask people to share, so that somebody out there might be able to relate and see that they're not alone in the situation. That's why we do the RAEL Orange Friday. Every week we run the campaign that is completely free of charge. We don't need to raise funds to change our profile to put an orange ribbon on our profile. And Lee J will post the frame, that we can do that. Also, just to do our part in creating awareness and all of that. And yeah, I think maybe I'm going to let Michael say a couple of words tonight. I don't know what he wants to say or how he wants to say it or what he wants to do. But Michael has also grown, and like I was saying, recovering addicts, empowering lives is saving lives and uniting families. Uniting families. And I say it all the time, that recovery is giving me what drugs promised me. Recovery gives me a good feeling without having to put a substance in my body to feel better. Recovery gives me I can put on the face that I need to put on without having to put a substance in my body. It gives me my self-esteem back. It gives me my perseverance back. It makes me a stronger person that can handle situations that used to confuse me, that used to cause disharmony inside myself, and be also a better person, obviously, and not lead a double life. What you see is what you get, and in most cases with some sort of substance abuse, it's not what you see is what you get. Whether you start abusing a little bit of the pills that were prescribed to you or whatever, there's usually some sort of hidden agenda that has to go with you doing what you must do to upkeep and feed your addiction. And yeah, it's lovely to see how well some of the guys are doing that I'm in contact with. I know Jared gave me a call last night, and it was a lekker call. A lekker call. But we must never forget where we come from. Sometimes we stop working as hard as what we were working in the beginning once we've gotten everything back. But never forget that you need to work just as hard to keep it. People always say that it's easy getting sober, Michael. But how easy is it staying sober? There's a little bit more work that has to constantly go into it, because that's just the way it is. I always used to, sometimes in the early sort of destructive part of my addiction, I would still have the strength to, when I hit a certain bottom, be able to pull myself right for a while, get a job again, get a couple of things. And like I said, first month's salary, we do all the right things. Second month's salary, we do some of the right things, and all of that. But like I said, there's a big trait in people, and especially people with substance abuse problems, is that for the first 2 or 3 months we put everything in, we work hard, we're never late for work, and after 3 months or whatever, we stop putting in as much, and that can't happen in recovery. That cannot happen in recovery. What's inspired me the most is when Mr. Hall started RAEL, and it's the classic story of how the message gets carried through the literature and through the people that's done it before, is that that one of the two founders of the AA program was starting meetings and going to meetings and is it good evening, Mr. Hall? I didn't tell anyone where you are, because besides it being none of their business, is that I think that there might be some people in the country that don't like you too much, but that's fine, because majority love you. And the way it started was one of the two founders and of the AA program started setting up these meetings and things like that. And after a couple of months, the one founder went back to his wife, and he kept on carrying the message. He kept on investing in people and giving of his time and giving of himself and all of that. And some people were staying sober, others weren't. And And he went home one evening and he said to his wife, hey, he doesn't know what to do because it's not working. Some of the people aren't staying sober. He needs to do something different. And then his wife said to him, but it is working. You staying sober. It was either Bill or Bob. I haven't been into that story for a while. And that's what we're doing here. Just like these meetings and the people that are watching them every evening and contributing because life has evolved and changed and things like that. And we can't always be present. And that. But in Mr. Hall's first 2 years of sobriety, he went to, I think it was about 2,000 or over 2,000 meetings. And once he started RAEL, self-funded, he started meetings on 5 days of the week that he ran in different areas, and also went to go speak at schools, and also went to go do all of that. And what I'm trying to get at is that is what worked for him in the beginning. And up until now, I haven't seen him stop doing that. And he said it a couple of times, the day I lose the passion, or the day I stop doing this. Because he didn't get sober by going to all these meetings and doing all these meetings and giving of himself and investing in other people. He didn't only get sober like that, but he needed to keep doing that to stay sober. And that's one of the biggest problems that we have when people leave rehabs. I always say it, and I've experienced it, is that it becomes less of a lust or a mission in recovery to do what you need to do to stay sober. Like these meetings that help keep me sober in the evenings. This is part of my sobriety. Like these meetings that keep me sober as well. Is that I can't just go to rehab and do a certain set of things and think, okay, this got me sober and it got me feeling good. If I want to stay feeling good, I need to continue doing these things all the time. All the time. We need to be hungry for this recovery. And I use the example of the fire. The guys start the fire here on a cold day. But if they don't keep feeding that fire, whoa, sorry. If they don't keep feeding that fire, it's going to turn to coals. And then eventually it's going to get colder. And then eventually it's just going to be ash over there. And eventually there's going to be no fire, Michael. So we have to keep at it. We have to persevere all the time, the whole time. And you get to a point where you start enjoying it, where you start wanting to do it, where the resistance. They say it's not recovery that's hard, it's the resistance to recovery that is difficult. It's the rebellion to authority. It's the wanting to do things my way. It's the expecting and having a certain picture in my mind of how it must be, and not just letting go and doing the program and things falling into place. And I don't know if the guys watching can maybe agree with me. They can disagree if they want to, but can maybe agree with me. How things fall into place if we just do our recovery continuously and put that first all the time, no matter how we feel. Sorry, I'm prepared tonight. I'm on charge, so my phone is standing up on my charger. And that's my point, is that many people and amongst addicts especially, or get a job, or a new dog, or a new car. And we'll play with that puppy, we'll treat it nice, we'll do everything for it. The puppy gets a little bit older. The novelty can never wear off in recovery. Because ultimately we're playing with our lives. And then in the beginning with the puppy, we make sure his blanket out is every night. We make sure that he's fed on this time of the day. That's correct, Gary. I had a boss at Ratanga, Donovan, and I remember he always used to tell me, plan your work and work your plan. But sometimes in recovery it can't be like that, because the plans that the Oaks have in their mind when they come through the gate, when they get here, are completely different to what the plans need to be. Okay, because they're drug induced and feeling induced. And no matter how we feel, we still need to do what we need to do for our recovery. So now, because I'm having a shitty day or whatever, I can't not feed the dog. I can't not do my devotions. I can't not do my work. I always try and explain to the Oaks that there's probably many single parents or mothers out there or whatever, but they can't, just because they're having a shitty day or because something didn't turn out the way that they wanted it to. And sometimes unexpected things happen. Things just seem to happen in life that are unexpected, because that's life. That's why we do things differently on a daily basis. And is anybody else lagging? Gladwin says it's lagging. I just want to check if it's from my side or from his side. And you see how quick I lose my train of thought. What was I saying, Michael?
We were talking about lagging.
Oh, goodness. Sorry, maybe I am lagging a bit, yeah.
No, what were you talking about now?
I'm just checking if Michael's lagging.
I'm stuck in my own head too.
But when things don't go exactly our way, and there's unexpected things along the way, then we still need to do what we need to do. So sometimes addicts think that they are some kind of excluded or exclusive club. But we're not. No matter how good or bad you're feeling, you still need to do what you need to do. So we're having a very good week. We've had a wonderful week here on the farm. Like I said, there was an amazing turnout of Family Day. And that's a very important part, is that families need to go for counseling, families need healing, and all the people involved in our lives need healing and things like that. And we always try and get to a situation where it doesn't make sense for a person to. That's why we can't put a time limit on the recovery. The suggested sort of time is 6 months. I say it should be 2 years at least. To get a person to a point where they're not going from primary sort of recovery. Get that person into a point where they're used to working daily, where they're used to coming home in the evening and doing meetings, and then still sort of be able to handle all of that emotionally. But it doesn't make sense, a person coming in doing a 6-month program and then going into a house that is still full of fighting and chaos, or going back into a household where healing hasn't taken place. And people heal at a different pace. people deal with things differently. And so, like I said, this week has been a good week. All the weeks are good here because essentially the Oaks don't do drugs. Sometimes, some weeks they're more needy than other weeks. But the luxury cupboards are full, and there's lots of cigarettes. So I'm hoping that's not the reason why it's been a good week. But because we know the game we'll see next week or the week after when the luxuries and cigarettes are running low. Like in normal people's lives when things are running low or when there's a limit to it. Because remember, this is to the addicts in recovery. Remember, we didn't think that we had a drug problem until the drugs ran out. And that is what can happen with anything. Anybody can handle the good times. When the going is good, then it's easy. But we need to obviously give the people the tools over here to be able to handle the bad times. But I've seen more people relapse on, I don't know if you want to call it success. Because I know me, myself, once everything was broken down and I ran myself back into the ground and to the pavement and things like that. Sure, Gary, what's the favorite luxury here? Probably anything centered around sugar, eh? Chocolates, biscuits, gassy cool drink. Sometimes you can even motivate the oak to do his recovery or do what he needs to do for his recovery by giving him a cigarette. But there's different people here, so you need to come from different angles and all of that. And I seen Jared said there earlier to Garth that he's skitting a cart or pulling a con or whatever. But my job here, because addiction is cunning, baffling and powerful, my job over here. Thank you very much, Roxanne. Are you in the UK? That's the last I've seen. Roxanne also seen me, I think it was probably, oh geez, Roxanne picked me up at on my way back from court. When I spent a weekend and a half in court and then I was rushed to hospital afterwards. Hectic. I thought I was going to die that day. And I walked into Carl Bremer with my t-shirt off. I had no shoes on my feet. My pants hanging under my ass. And I walked into the emergency room over there shouting, "Give me morphine." After I was foaming from the mouth, I was lying on the back of on the back seat of Roxanne's car. That was pretty hectic. Thank you for fetching me. Yeah, then I went to hospital for a week, and my sister picked me up. And then things started going well again, and that's where I was getting to when I said I've seen a lot of people relapse on success sometimes, not only in the bad times. I've seen people build themselves up and then take their foot off the gas and think, okay, well, I've made it. And that's what would happen to me, is we need to be able to handle the good times as well. But it's a bit easier when things are going good and going our way. And our parents are coming to visit and we're getting what we want. All the luxuries, Gary. Pardon. and we're getting the luxuries, and we're not getting cucked out. But we see where a person's at when one thing goes wrong, or just something foreign to the plan and thoughts that they have in their mind. That's what makes recovery different here. Is that we don't go home at 5 o'clock. We're here living and interacting with the guys 24/7. Because most of the times, Van, the problems only start at 5 o'clock.
That's correct.
And sometimes on a Saturday and Sunday, we'll give them extra free time on purpose to see what this oak is going to do with his free time. Thanks, Roxanne. That means a lot. I know there was a. I'm thinking of the time frame of that now. It was an oak that used to the metal ShopRite trolleys. He used to do repairs. He used to do repairs on these trolleys for most of the ShopRite branches in the Western Cape, and at the time, me and Roxanne knew the same person that had a truck, and I would during the day go and try and steal trolleys, and then I would sell it to this oak, and that done the trolley repairs, because he used to get paid by ShopRite, and yeah, I would spend my days sometimes close to the ShopRite parking lot, and making my way a little bit further away from the ShopRite, and then I would spend my evenings, because I never used to sleep at night at that time. I'd spend my evenings going to all the different destinations, collecting the trolleys, and then loading them on the truck and taking them to this guy, and then I'd have money to go on again. But yeah, you actually just reminded me about that, Roxanne, because it was more or less that time when I used to do that. And yeah, so we need to be able to handle the very good times and the very bad times. And you know, like it says in our mission statement, is that we shouldn't be at a point where circumstance dictates how we move forward. How's it, Vanna? I see your name popping up there. You're sitting right here. That's nice. All right. Vanna's doing very well. Very well. Also came in here, wasn't given a chance by most of the people on the planet, and there was a stage that he was saying that we even said to him that we would pay him to leave. But anyways, Vanna didn't leave, and he grew, and he's grown, and he is growing, and he puts a lot into people's lives here as well, and like I said, just like that saying that a lot of us like telling our kids, don't do as I do, do as I say. Over here, it's different. We got the privilege and the luxury of being around somebody like Mr. Hall that has 15 years of solid sobriety, of carrying the message, of doing things the way that it needs to be done for ongoing recovery. And automatically you start living in that way when you see it all the time. We have fun here. But we also have very, very serious times here. Because not all the stories we can share on the live feeds. Not all the stories we can share on the live feeds. And just like we've wronged people, people have also wronged some of the guys sitting here. Addicts have also been taken advantage of in situations. So I'm just going to let Michael say how's it quickly, because like me, the only camera that he used to be on was on CCTV, or on the camera where you push the button to go into mom's house, and then she sees you on the camera there on the front before she presses open on the gate. And yeah, so I'm just gonna let Michael say how's it. I got my power bank in here because it was one of those days again where yeah, obviously I prefer to share from my phone and that. It's balancing on a laptop though, which I could share from as well, but yeah, it was one of those days where you get to hear how blessed you are, especially after seeing the families that were here, and after Jared's phone call yesterday evening after the meeting. That's right, Gary. Any publicity is good publicity. But I'm glad that there's people like Roxanne that's watching, because and a lot of others that know me of how I was before, so that they can also be witness to what it was like or what I was like. Dylan Kirsten, are you related to Darren Kirsten? Tank.
Yes, sir.
Is Dylan Kirsten related to Darren Kirsten?
That's his son, sir.
Ah, okay, hectic. All right. Okay. Dylan Kirsten says, how's it to you and Justin? Lekker.
Uncle Reggie worked with me.
Okay. All right. Okay. So lekker. Sorry we were a little bit late this evening. Michael is on 5%, even though it is charging. It's charging from the laptop here. So you can say how's it to everybody quickly, because you smark the camera. And I can't wait until we go speak at schools and things like that. Michael is 20 years old. Okay. Michael's not going to celebrate his 21st at the tuck shop because he's been through school. He's going to celebrate his 21st at this tuck shop. And we have lovely birthdays here. I'll never forget we had an old man here. Not an old man, a mature man. But he was 60 something. And he hadn't... Okay, lekker Dylan. Yeah, Tank said to me, yeah, that Darren Kirsten is your dad. Good Oak. Years ago, he wasn't one of the people that you wanted to get onto the wrong side of, Tank. Yeah. And, yeah. Lekker, Dylan. Lekker. Tank also says you're a good oak and you've made some good decisions and things in life. And, what was I saying, Michael?
The Tank said he's a good oak and that he made some good decisions.
Not the last 5 words.
Michael in schools.
Okay, yeah. So we've had some lovely birthdays here, and I was telling you about the old man. Yeah, he celebrated his 65th birthday over here, and we went through the normal procedure and things like that, because sometimes we forget about the birthdays we spent alone or having our own party. I've had a couple of birthdays like that, Tank, you know what I mean? And oh, Tank ran away here on his birthday. Oh shit. But he came back the same day. So the party didn't turn out the way it should have. But that's what happens sometimes. The oaks run away, or they go away, or they make mistakes, like myself, and then you start realizing, hey, it is true what they were saying. And so this poor old man, he's sober today. He's living lekker, drank his whole life, and it was his first time that he had a birthday cake in 30 years, and had people sing to him and had people around him and all of that. And we were just sort of sticking to the normal, or what had become again the normal procedure. Thanks, Nadine. Yeah, awesome. Mal spends a lot of time with her. I got the privilege and things, like I said, like we've got the privilege of having meetings like this live. I got the privilege of getting lekker videos and things like that. Yeah. And yeah, awesome. She's 7 months today. And I can tell you now, today, 7 months ago, my thoughts and demeanor and worries and that were a little bit different. But I can tell you, because of the program and because of the support that I had around me at that time, because we all know that she was premature and that, I can tell you that at that time there were lots of worries and things. And 7 months now to date, I think she's almost 4 times her birth weight, and she's doing extremely well, full of energy and things like that. When I watch the videos, then I tell Mal that I'm gonna need to start getting my energy levels up and things like that again, because she's very busy and things like that. I think she's got the same energy as what I had when I was young. But yeah, awesome. Thank you, Nadine. Okay, Lekker Lucy, you busy with the racing with Joaquin? Also come a long way with his racing and that. Michael, just let me check my percent here. Okay, it's still on 5, even though it's charging from the laptop. So yeah, I'm just gonna let Michael say how's it quickly, Michelle. And then we got another guy here, Kobus from Saldanha Bay. His parents were very, very, very impressed to see his growth from 6 months ago till now, and how he's changed, and how it's automatically, the process has just worked. And he is 6 months today, also in his early 40s, and has also sort of been through the whole trade of drugs. Started at the alcohol and dacha, went on to ecstasy, and has a very similar story to most people his age that didn't stop in their 20s. And he's doing lekker well. He's been here for 6 months, and like I said, all the other guys in the program as well. There's no problems here. There's no problems. I know it sounds funny, but I'm saying it because it's so lekker to say. Okay, lekker. All right. Good luck to Joaquin and his racing this weekend in Vereniging. Hey, that boykie races, eh? And it's lekker to watch and all of that. And yeah, so good luck to him for his racing this weekend, Lucy. And okay, he's racing in Vereniging. I was in Vereniging for a while, but I was in rehab there. And yeah, that wasn't a nice rehab. I came out there and I started drinking a week later. But anyways, it's all part of the process of where we go and we learn and all of that. Okay, Michael, here, come speak. Thank you, everybody. You can speak in the back.
Okay.
Just don't talk shit.
I'll try my best not to. Good evening, everyone. I'm Michael. So yeah, I think some of you have seen my I don't know, I did a share like maybe a month and a half ago on my life story, or a bit of it. So the one thing I just wanted to speak about tonight. Okay, well, let me first start off by saying I had a lekker day today. How's it, Vanna? Long time no see. Wait, never mind. Hi, Mom. Yeah, so I've had a lekker day today. I was able to do do a few things that I've been thinking about for a while now. I did a project today, which how's it, Clutchy? I did a project today which I've been thinking about, and I'm almost done with it. So I'm very happy about that. And doing something like that also brings up my self-esteem. What I actually wanted to speak about tonight was good evening. Was something that when my mom was here on Saturday that I spoke about with her. So what happened was, my mom ended up talking to me about one person that we know. How's it? And she was saying how so basically this person used to come around to my house, and my mom was saying how she didn't like this person. And I was sitting there thinking, and what I was thinking about was, it must be so amazing to not be able to hold resentments. And while I was sitting there, I was thinking the whole time, how can I put it in my mom's mind that I have to, that I have to be able to forgive this person no matter what they've done to me. And looking at it like this, as I had to explain it to my mom, I don't know if my mom can remember the face that she pulled at me, but I can. And I said, no, Mom, I have to forgive this person. There's things that I have to do. I can't hold resentments to this person for what they've done to me, or for what they've done in my life, because in the end of the day, I'm the one who's sick. He'll end up being sick, and he'll end up facing the consequences. So long story short, I had to try to explain to my mom, and I don't know if she can remember this conversation, I had to try to explain to her why I have to forgive this person and she doesn't have to.
Yeah.
And that sort of made me feel, it made me feel almost not jealous, but in a way envious of how she can hold resentments and how I don't have to. How she can be sitting there thinking,
She can and you can't.
Yeah.
Because normal people have that privilege.
Yes, that sounds about right. So yeah, me. Yes, it does. Yeah. So where was I now? I was thinking about. So I was thinking about how fortunate people are to not have to worry about forgiving people. And while I was sitting there, and then later on in the day, while I'm busy speaking to my mom, I get a thought which comes up into my head, and I start thinking like, maybe it's actually a good thing that I have to forgive people. Because it's not just the fact that I'm sitting there and I have to think like, okay, now I have to forgive this person to keep me better, but at the same time I have to forgive that person for the fact that, yeah, they've wronged me, yeah, they've done bad things to me. But it means if I ever bump into them again, which I mean, maybe I do, maybe I don't, I won't have to have that inner struggle of thinking, what's this person thinking about me? What's this person? Who they're going to tell the next person about like what I'm doing wrong or anything? If you know what I mean. I don't have to worry about what they think of me, or what. Most importantly, not just what they think of me, but what their opinion is on me, and who they can go around and tell the next person, oh, Michael's done this, Michael's done that, because in a sense, that's just something I don't have to worry about anymore. I mean, I can sit there, still crosses my mind sometimes, but I can sit there and think, this person will be saying this about me on the outside. This person will be saying this. This person will be telling someone told my mom before that I'm nothing other than a drug addict. And, you know, stuff like that hurt at the time, but now looking back at it, it sets me, now looking back at it, it sort of sets me on a position where I'm thinking, the only thing I can do is to get sober and to keep my life right. Because, well, one thing, it's good for me, but at the same time, what I'm doing is, I'm also kind of throwing it in their face. Which, I mean, isn't the right thoughts, but that's the way, I mean, yeah, it's saving my life, it's doing all of that, but at the same time, I'm throwing it in that person's face because they were the person that said, I'm useless, I'm worthless, I'm nothing but a drug addict. So that's one thing that sort of stood out to me and I was very happy about. Not just the fact that I'm getting my life right, but that I can also throw it in their face. And that also leads me on to another point of I have to find approval in myself. By feeling, so when I was saying I didn't have to worry about what that person said about me or anything to anyone else. If I find approval in myself, I don't have to worry about finding approval in the next person. I can sit there and if someone comes and asks me for something, I don't have to give it to them because I feel bad for them or because I want to people please them or because I want, for example, Vanna to be my friend. I don't have to sit there and be like, oh, I want Vanna to be my friend, so here's this box of cigarettes. No, I used to do that. That's how I found my friends. Well, not friends, but people I used to use with because no one wanted to be around me.
And then lockdown came and then we couldn't buy cigarettes. Then you had no more friends.
I never had friends. I had acquaintances. So where was I now? So I was always looking at it at the fact is, well, where can I get my next friend? I always used to look at people and think that I want to be around this person, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get as much money as I can from my mom because none of it was mine. And spoil this person out. What I would do is I would say, come we go out for drinks, and I'd buy them everything. Just, you know, because everyone likes someone that will give them something.
Sure, where were you when I was dragging, bro?
Still in my mother's womb, sir. So that's something, realizing now that I don't actually have to people please someone or give someone something or give someone what they want just so that I feel better. Now finding approval myself is what was I saying now? Oh, I was about finding approval myself. Flip it. Okay, yeah. Let me just carry on. So finding approval myself, also, it makes me feel better about myself. I don't have to end up worrying, as what I was saying earlier, about what the next person says about me. Or what, like if Van had to go to someone now and say, oh, Michael's this, Michael's that. If I'm content to myself, I don't have to worry about what they're saying because I know what I am. They don't know what I am because I know what goes around in my head. You know, thinking about something now is... Today I was thinking about my best memory on the farm. And I know this is a bit off topic. But I was thinking, and still thinking now. Because... Oh, it's been something that's been going on in my head a lot. And you know, the one day we're here and okay, not maybe my best memory, but something that really stands out to me is when Richie was here and he was wearing his Springbok uniform to go to Algeria, I think it was.
Did you smart seeing Richie in a leotard?
No, I saw him in his tracksuit, sir.
Oh.
So I'd also known Richie for about 5 months then, or I'd been on the farm with him for about 5 months, and I was standing there just by the TV, and I was thinking, yo, if this guy, Richard, could go from being an addict just like me to being someone the way he is now, you could look at it as if I never knew him. I would never be able to say that he was an addict. And that was like quite a turning point for me, is thinking that if I leave here and believe that I am a new person, not just think it, but if I believe that I'm a new person, not that I'm leaving my whole past behind me, but that I'm actually here to do the right thing, and that I'm here to do as much as I can in order to live the path of God's will for me. I can come out of here and people, maybe if I meet someone there, like obviously they'll eventually know that I'm an addict and stuff, but at the same time I won't feel that judgment almost, which also comes with self-approval. It's weird thinking about it now, like how that just seeing someone like that in their uniform could almost gave me a bit of hope. Okay, then a bit of a bad time came after that, but I was seeing someone, not even knowing how they were when they came in, but seeing how they were when I met them, it was quite a big like eye opener for me, realizing that I can change my life around. I'm still 20. I'm very young. I can change my life around and do a lot more with it. I always had such low expectations of myself when I was using. I mean, I thought I was going to be lying on my mother's couch in my room or her room or wherever the rest of my life and living off her. But now, as soon as I've come into recovery, and I think this is the first time I've ever been in recovery, like properly. I've been sober or dry, I think what they say. But this time it's the first time I'm actually feel like I'm working it honestly. Also brings a bit of, I don't know, self-respect into my life. Knowing the last few times that I was trying, but I wasn't trying to the best of my ability. Knowing that I could have done better, I think is something that holds me back. I think that's a good idea.
Sit still, man, Michael.
Sorry, sir, I'm a bit nervous. So yeah, I think that. Oh, where was I now? Okay, but yeah. Okay, so then all of this, in my mind, I don't know if it happens in yours, links up to the thing of the actor, like from the Big Book. How in my old life I wanted everything to go my way. I wanted everything to, if I said it, I wanted it done this way, that way, and if it's not done that way, and if it's not done that way, I get upset and I get angry. Which, if I don't have that self-approval and that way to not hold resentments against anyone for not doing it for me, I don't have to feel that way. Wait, that's right, I think. Because if I'm wanting, as I say in the book, if I'm wanting to be the main person in the play, to be doing the cameras, to be being the producer and director and everything all at once, how must I be able to be happy if something doesn't go that way? You know, okay, I think this all made a bit more sense to me in my head, but yeah, some things I'm only realizing now that, like the small things, even now sitting here now, I'm realizing how everything I say has just a small impact on me. Because as Mr. Schuler always says, I'm saying it, but I'm the first person hearing it. I'm the first person to hear that the things that I'm saying, like when he talks about rules or something, he's the first person to hear it when he says it. So it's not the fact that he's telling people, he's reminding himself at the same time. So I think me speaking now on self-approval and holding resentments and stuff is actually, in a way, bringing out a few things in me. Today I hold a resentment against someone here. I was busy laying a bit of concrete, and someone walked over it unbeknowingly. And now I walked around the house, and I went and found the person. I said, like, listen, my bro, please don't do that again. Okay, I never swore at him or anything. I just said, listen, like, I really don't like what you did, and I would appreciate it if you didn't do it again. And their reply sort of like lit something inside of me, which made me feel cuck. At the same time that happened, like as I realized that, I was thinking about a situation a few months ago where I did really get upset, and how I've changed since then. When I got upset a few months ago, it was something way smaller, something way smaller than what it was today. But now looking at it, it also makes me feel as if I've grown a bit in my recovery, as if I've moved on a bit and started to take those next steps into being happy and being sober. So I just wanted to end off, take about 5 minutes probably, hopefully, because I'm getting a bit nervous, with some things. I can't remember what we did. I think we did it with one of the pastors or something, but things that we want once we got our sobriety, things that we would like once we got our sobriety back. And I wrote this a few days ago. And it's to get rid of my filth, to get rid of all the pain, all the suffering inside of me, all the resentments, to get rid of all of the anger and all of that, because that is something that if I don't get over it, or I prefer to say get through it, if I don't work through it, how am I gonna deal with it if something like that comes up on the outside? I think there's 6 here, yeah. And the next one was to become a role model. I want to be a role model for those around me. I've got 2 younger cousins. I want to be a role model to them, to show them how I have changed my life around. They're quite young still, and I don't know if they know exactly what's going on. But I want to be that role model to them and to show them how amazing life can be while being sober. Also to be a role model to 1 or 2 people I know they've got children, how they've got their life sorted now, and I want to be part of their lives, watch that child grow up, because there's just something about it that I love. I never had a father, so watching a little boy grow up and be the man, grow into the man that he was meant to be and that God gave him to this world to be, it's quite a heartwarming experience for me. The next thing is to have my family back. To have my family back. I always had my family. They were always by my side. But I wasn't always by their side. If for example, we stayed with at the moment my mom stays with my grandparents. When I was at home, they'd always ask us, can we have a braai? Don't you want to come with? And I would say, yeah, no, I'll be there, and I just never ended up showing. Which was something that I always wanted to do, but I just couldn't bring myself to doing it. Which I think made my family distance from me. I think that made my family feel almost too scared to ask for me to do something, because what I feel is going to end up happening is I'm just going to disappoint them, and they feel the same thing.
Okay, the dogs are tripping.
Okay, the next thing for me was to follow God's will. It's for me to look at my life, and also, as it says in the Serenity Prayer, to accept the things I cannot change. If something happens in my life, that was God's will. That was, God put that bad situation or that upset in my life for the sole purpose to make me the person I am today. I always think especially in the evenings or when I get into bed, how every bad situation in my life and how every upset in my life has made me the person I am today. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be able to be sitting in a beautiful place like RAEL and to be sitting in an environment of people who understand me, people who care for me and people who love me. My family's always been there for me. Always been there for me, even though I wasn't there for them. God's will, I think, is something that I've taken the longest to accept, is that God has played the biggest part in making my life how it is today. Through the hard times, through the good times, God's always been there for me, even though I haven't acknowledged Him sometimes. I want to create a loving family. I want to create a family, obviously get married one day and have children, but create a family that can understand, that can relate, and that isn't judgmental about the people. Create a family that I feel comfortable around to be who I am. You know, I think one of my biggest problems is also looking for acceptance in the wrong places. I've always gone to, especially girlfriends who are easier, who feel as if it's easier to, or who I feel as if it's easier to be a fake person around them, scared that they'll accept me for who I am. So I think that was a big thing for me, trying to find acceptance within myself. Having a family or girlfriend or wife or children one day that I can do things that I like doing. Yes, Nadine, my verse in the KJV is I know the thoughts that I have towards you, thoughts of good and not of evil, to give you an expected end, is Jeremiah 29 verse 11 in my Bible. My favorite verse. And I think to end it off, I want to be, I was saying about that role model, I want to be that role model to the people who haven't had the chance that I've had, just so I can maybe show them the way of living that I found out through RAEL, and to give them the hope and the chance maybe to be in a place like this. Obviously all in due time, but just to realize how fortunate I am to be in a place like this where I've got people who love me is an amazing thing. So I think that's about everything on my side. Thank you very much for letting me share, Mr. Schuler. I'm a bit nervous, but thank you.
Okay, don't worry, Michael. Like Nadine says, one day at a time. And definitely, Nadine, I don't know if you can see there on there it says Jeremiah 29:11. There on the windowsill there, over there. And definitely, that is the way it goes. And that's what it's about, Michelle, and to the other parents. It's about saving lives and uniting families. But, we got our show Crackers and Crackheads. And the oaks that didn't smoke crack before they got here, I used to tell them, don't smoke crack, bro. Look at Michael. But anyways, I booked Michael in on a Friday. And it was a year and a bit ago, eh?
A year and 2 weeks ago, sir.
A year and 2 weeks ago. And I remember Mal was here to fetch me. And I was waiting there was another guy that I also booked in that Friday. And at that time, what I would do is obviously to build relationships with the guys and to get them to know them better and things like that. I wouldn't move from room to room, but I would share a room with some of them sometimes. And And that's where recovery takes place. It's not always in the evening meeting, but it's maybe after the meeting and things like that, where you express yourselves, you share different scenarios and things like that. And well done, Lloyd. That's awesome. Lekker to see you here. Lekker, man. Maybe we can chat sometime and you can also even share. That's very awesome. Well done. So you're coming up 3 years. Awesome stuff. And anyways, I booked Michael in the Friday, and okay, that's all good. And that was my weekend off, and I was just mainly waiting for the 2 newcomers, and I booked him into the same room that I was sleeping in at the time. And like I said, I used to like sort of sleep in this room for a while with some of the guys, sleep in that room and move around like that, because that's how you build the connection. That's how you get to know who and what and how you're working with and all of that. And Michael, did you sort that out? What Tank done there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's
And yeah, it does. Not Ryan Tank, Doggy Tank. And anyway, so I go off to my weekend, and it's a whole scenario. I've just spent an hour and a bit with Michael. I booked him in and I've spoken to him and through the whole procedure and everything. And I come back. It's probably just in routine or the way that it's said. I come back to work. I don't really see it as work. But I come back to work the Wednesday. I come back to the farm the Wednesday. And I put my stuff that I took with me back into the room. And Michael's sitting in front of the room and he says, "How's it? I'm Michael. I don't think we've met." The previous Friday, I booked him in. So, yeah, I think sometimes when our thoughts and plans and all of that, it changes a little bit from the day that we walk into the door, and over a period of time. But Michael's also a good example of also just getting to a certain level and then wanting to give up and all of that. But what better place to be in than to get to that level and then learn how to go through it. And yeah, I know Michelle has said that a couple of places has said his age does work against him and all of that. And I'm glad that I've been through what I've been through at the age of 20, 21, 22 and all of that. Because how else would I understand what Michael's going through at that time? And yeah, so lekker, good meeting, lekker to have you all. And it'll be lekker to check all the orange ribbons on your profile pictures tomorrow. And yeah, go and check out what Orange Friday is about. It's just about creating awareness and sharing experience, strength and hope, and carrying the message and removing the stigma of addiction. As you can see, as you can see that we'll get to our crackers and crackheads meetings, like I said, just to sort of have a sort of light laugh and that, and then and more importantly, so that there's people out there that can identify with these things that we do, that they're neither as great nor as bad as what they think they are. No, Clutchy, I'm not too tired like I was last night. But lekker. Okay, so and that's how we carry the message. That's how we create awareness. And thanks, Lee J. I'm sure you'll also put up the frame. and it will be interesting and lekker to see it. It's lekker to see that instead of always comparing and hating and envying each other, that we can rather look for similarities and identify with each other and get closer to our goal. That there's just too much addiction for us to help everybody. But like I said, if one person can come in here and carry the message and pass it on to the next person and the next person and the next person, then we're still winning. Alright, so awesome. Thank you very much. Lee J will post the frame now for everybody's orange ribbon, and it will be lekker if you tag me in the picture. Tag myself and Mr. Hall and whoever else you want to in your profile pictures. And yeah, thanks. Thursday night used to be a lot different to what it is tonight. I never used to know which day of the week it was. At least I know it's Thursday now, you know what I mean? And thanks, Michael. Michael has grown lekker. And yeah, God bless. Thank you, RAEL, and thank you, Mr. Hall.